Hello, and welcome back to Blue Fig Longevity. The term longevity describes a person living into their 80s, 90s, and beyond, but alert, healthy, free of chronic diseases, and vibrant. There are several lifestyle factors, what we call pillars, that lead to longevity. These pillars include eating a healthy diet, being social, getting proper physical activity, getting your medical checkups, staying away from stress, and getting good quality sleep. So today I'd like to focus on how sleep affects your ability to live a long, healthy life. By now, I'm sure you've all heard of the golden rule that adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. But let's be honest, how many of us actually hit that target? And more importantly, even if you're in bed for 8 hours, how many of us are actually getting good quality sleep for that period of time? True high quality sleep means falling asleep within 30 minutes of your head hitting the pillow and rarely waking up throughout the night. And if you do, it's for a quick bathroom break and you're usually back asleep right away. But today, in our hyper connected, always on the go world, deep sleep has become a luxury more than the norm. Dr. Farouk, and I've been taking care of patients for over 20 years. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Mr. Q. He came to me one day for a routine medical visit. He was about 65 years old. He was a bodybuilder, and he wanted my advice on how he could get bigger and stronger. I looked at him and I said, "You're asking me how to get bigger? Have you seen me? I'm not that muscular." I thought about the things I know that are important for gaining muscle. So I asked him if he's eating plenty of protein. I said, drinking plenty of water. We know that water helps with metabolism and helps keep your energy levels and muscle growth happening. He said, "Yes, doc, I drink at least a gallon of water a day." And I said, "Great." So then I asked him, "How do you sleep?" And he said, "Oh, no, sleep. I don't sleep very well." And I said, "Okay, sleep is important because as you sleep at night, that's when your body regenerates. That's when your muscles grow. That's when you get rest." And so I said, "Why don't you sleep well?" He was a Vietnam veteran, and he told me that he has nightmares every night about his time in the military, and that keeps him up. He has a hard time staying asleep. He's okay with getting to sleep, but staying asleep, when these nightmares intrude into his brain, he ends up waking up and oftentimes can't go back to sleep. We'll get back to Mr. Q in a few moments, but before we do that, let's talk about the effects of poor sleep on your body. Most people assume that missing sleep just makes you tired and cranky the next day, but the physical reality of lack of sleep is much more alarming. Poor sleep triggers devastating cascades of events that occur in your body and affect all of your bodily functions. So, in no particular order, let's start with your brain and your nervous system. Lack of sleep tanks your mental performance. It reduces your focus, it slashes your reaction times, which dramatically increases your risk of getting injured, like in a car accident. Even worse, chronic poor sleep impairs your memory and it could even lead to dementia. Moving down to our adrenal glands. When we don't sleep enough or well, our body panics and floods our body with a hormone called cortisol. It's a stress hormone. This completely derails your normal sleep rhythm. It traps you into a vicious cycle where you're too stressed to sleep. Then there's the effects of poor sleep on your immunity. When people are not sleeping well, it makes you defenseless against regular viruses. And so you get more upper respiratory tract infections, more coughs, more colds. And the vaccines that you might take, they are less effective. Not getting enough quality, restful sleep can cause our blood pressures to go up, which then affects our heart. It causes problems with our pancreas releasing insulin. So our sugar metabolism is off, and that can lead to diabetes. There's also effects on our gut and how we digest our foods overnight in the small and large intestine. And when we're injured, if we're not sleeping well, it makes it harder to recover because when we're sleeping, our muscles, bones, and all of our organs are actually resting. Besides hormones like cortisol and insulin, the lack of sleep also affects our sex hormones. So, testosterone, estrogen, when we're not sleeping well, those levels can go below normal ranges, which can cause other symptoms. So, how would you know if you're not getting good quality sleep? First, see how long you're sleeping. Obviously, we want to sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. In terms of quality, you would only know through indirect things like if you wake up feeling tired, if you're sleepy throughout the day, if you have puffy eyes, if people say you snore at night, if you're tossing and turning, you are not getting quality sleep. If any of these symptoms or signs sound familiar to you, you're not alone. Many people suffer from lack of sleep and lack of quality sleep. The good news is there's many things you can do to help yourself optimize your sleep, to help you feel more rested, to give you more energy, to provide longevity. Tip one is to master what we call sleep hygiene. And that means going to bed on a regular schedule. Go to bed every night around the same time and waking up every morning around the same time. Keep your bedroom dark, keep it cool, keep it free from anything that will distract you from getting good sleep, making sure that your curtains are dark so that the sun doesn't wake you up in the morning, making sure that you are ready for bed by the time you get to bed. So making sure you brush your teeth and take a shower if that's what you want to do before you go to sleep. The bed should really only be used for sleep and perhaps intimacy. We don't recommend you studying in bed or reading in bed or watching TV in bed, anything that would require you to stay alert. These are things that can make it more difficult to sleep in bed because your body gets used to staying alert. You want to make sure you're resting and that your brain rests during the time that you're in bed. Let's go back to Mr. Q for a minute. When I found out that he was having poor sleep and a lot of his sleep disturbances were related to military related nightmares, I recommended that he get some counseling. But before I sent him on his way, I did recommend the lessons that we've learned in sleep hygiene. And I also talked to him about making sure that he stays away from exercising. Remember, he was a bodybuilder. So I said, don't exercise too late in the evening because that will increase all of your adrenaline type hormones. And so you want to work out earlier in the day. Of course, I also told him to stay away from energy drinks and to be careful how much and when he takes his pre-workout because a lot of the pre-workout supplements have caffeine in them, so that can also affect his sleep. In subsequent visits, Mr. Q did really well. He responded very well to the counseling provided by our therapists. Over the counter supplements like melatonin also helped Mr. Q, especially when he took it the right way. I usually recommend people take melatonin about 1 hour before they want to sleep. And after they take it, they start their bedtime rituals like turning off all the lights in the house, turning off TVs, radios, putting the cell phone away, taking a shower if that's what you do, brushing your teeth. By the time you do all those rituals, the melatonin is kicking in and you should be able to get good quality sleep. The melatonin helps with initiating sleep and keeping you asleep throughout the night. The other important part of using supplements like melatonin is to make sure that you're getting sunlight early in the day in the mornings. Now, the idea is that when our bodies were being developed, when we were cavemen, we would sleep in the caves but come out in the mornings when the sun was out. And in those days, our brains would get direct sunlight through our eyes without any glasses, without any windows in front of us, direct sunlight into our eyes, which would go into our brains. And it would set our clocks by telling our brain, this is morning. And then we evolved into realizing that 18 hours or so after that time that the sun hits our brain, it's got to be night. And so at that time, our brains would release melatonin to help us sleep. Unfortunately, most of us don't get direct sunlight in the mornings. And if we do, we have sunglasses on, we have windshields in front of us. So it's important to make sure we get some direct sunlight. I usually recommend about 30 minutes of direct sunlight in the mornings between the hours of 7 and 10 a.m. And if you do that with taking melatonin 1 hour before you want to sleep at night, that tends to really help optimize your sleep quality and quantity. Fixing your sleep isn't about altering your entire life overnight. It's about small changes that you make that will compound daily and help you optimize your sleep. So here's my challenge to you tonight. Pick just one of the things that we talked about to help you sleep better. Turn off your phone an hour before you want to go to sleep. Turn down your thermostat. Make your room a little bit cooler. Make it a little bit darker. Make sure that you stop having caffeine after noon. I'm sure these small changes will help you get to sleep quicker and help you stay asleep longer. Hope you found this video helpful. I'd love to hear what you think, and I'd love to hear what you'd like to implement in your life. Please feel free to comment below. Till next time, sleep well, live well, and strive to live a life of longevity.